Hello and welcome to another video. This time we're going to be looking at using the mouse. We'll be looking at how we enable the mouse, how we set a cursor for the mouse, we'll be looking at how to check the status of the buttons, and we'll be looking at how to find out the position of the mouse on the screen. As usual, the only tools you'll need are a text editor and the assembler. You will need an Agon that's got a mouse. That then means you'll be using a Console 8, or maybe you've got an Agon Lite that you've created your own interface board for. In order to highlight some of these mouse features, I thought it'd be good if we put together a little drawing program. So let's see what it does. When we first run it, we get a cursor. That cursor, we've got a little pencil. We can move the pencil around the screen. If we click the mouse button, we get a point drawn at that position. But if we click and hold the mouse, it draws a line for as long as we've got our mouse button down. If we let go, it stops drawing. So how do we achieve that? Well, our code is going to start just as we have done before. All the usual introduction parts and set the mode to 8 for this particular example. And so the first two things we're going to do is enable the mouse. And there's a specific command, 230 89 and then 0 to enable the mouse. We can then set the icon if we like. It will come up automatically with a default one. In this case, we're going to set it to a pencil. Again, here there's a specific command for it, with a reference number 5 here as being the icon for the pencil. At the bottom of the file, I've included a list of all the other default icons you could use. So the next thing we're going to do is simply send some initial data to the VDU. In this case, all we're doing is setting up the screen to be in a non-scaled format. And as we continue in, the next thing we'll do is we'll stay in this loop. That is a mouse up loop. The first thing we do is we're going to check whether the person has pressed the escape key. This is the same code we've used before. Then we're going to get a pointer to the system variables. Again, we've looked at this before. But this time we're going to be looking at this part here. This is where the mouse button status is stored. Each button sets a different bit on the value, and the first bit is the one we're going to be checking for the main left mouse button. If it isn't pressed, we keep going around the loop. If it is pressed, then we jump to the do mouse down routine. What this is going to do is find out the initial position of the mouse. So it will find out from the system variables the mouse X and Y position, and these are words, not bytes. And we're going to store those in our own variable space. Once we've captured those, we're going to plot one point with a plot routine. This is very similar to what we've used before when we looked at drawing graphics. So our plot routine prepares some data to send off to the VDP. In this case, we've got the plot routine of 2569 to plot a point, and this is where we've stored the X and the Y coordinates as words. So it'll send those coordinates to the plot routine. Once we've done that, we jump down here to the mouse still down loop. So while the mouse is still pressed down, we're going to check whether the person has pressed the escape key. We're going to retrieve the pointer to the system variables again and check if the mouse has gone up yet. If it has, we're going to jump back out to our mouse up loop. However, if the mouse is still down, then we're going to capture the new position of the mouse, store that, and do exactly the same thing, but this time we're going to draw a line. So the draw the line routine is 25.5 with the new coordinates. So every time it goes round the loop, it'll draw a line from the last point we did. To keep things tidy, when we exit, I've also disabled the mouse at this point, so we're not left with a pencil cursor on the display. More information is available on the Wiki regarding the system variables, including the mouse. The mouse is listed right at the bottom, and you can see here that we can look at the mouse position, the button, the rolling wheel if we've got one, and the difference in the mouse position from one position to the next. Hopefully you found this useful, and now you can use the mouse in your own programs.